Hey guys, good morning. Haven't done a video in a few days. The crazy stock of the morning is AVCT, Alpha Victor Charlie Tango, and it's up around 11.85 after closing yesterday around $4.84. The news out was they're just acquiring another company. Seems like if you just announce that you're acquiring another company, your stock goes up 300-400%. This has price history and has a nice looking chart. It would have been nice to kind of catch this curl. This one's never been on my radar. I actually thought it was Avicent Technologies, which I do follow. I think they're very similar ticker symbols. But we'll watch that intraday. The only time I like to chase these, or not chase these, is to buy them is if they pull back under the VWAP and then kind of flatten out and then they have like a shape change pivot, like kind of you'd see like in this area right in here. Like if this was the extent of the move today and then it pulled back and then it fired up. Other than that, I really don't mess with those too much unless I'm just doing a bracket scalp, which gives me a loss and a sell right away because they move so quick. There are two interesting IPOs today, and one of them was supposed to open up yesterday, I believe, but it is AFib. It's a medical device technology company, hence the name AFib, arterial fibrillation, but it's called Acutus Medical. This is a really interesting company, growing really quickly, some good products, and I love medical device companies because when they do when they do IPO, become acquisition targets for companies like Medtronics or whatever. So that's offering at $18 and a small float, so it could get a little wild. 8 million shares. Yesterday we had a couple on the radar, but one of them was ridiculous. We were expecting it to open up maybe 30 because it was priced at I think 21 or 22 if I remember correctly. Maybe it was 26, but it opened like 70. And then it said it went to 90, but if you watch the spreads on it, it was ridiculous. It was like 76 by 86. I couldn't even. And another one I really was just on my radar. I had no interest in it. RXT, I believe it was. And then there's also Oak Street Health today. OSH, Oscar Sam Henry. That's set to open at $21 a share, and it has probably twice the float of AFib, right around 16,000 shares. So both of those are going to be interesting today. I don't know if you guys are still on GBTC. It still looks pretty good. The Bitcoin Trust. This is getting a little whippy though, and it's kind of hard to hold, but we've had a pretty decent move from there. SRNE, hopefully you guys got out of that monster move. It needs a pullback for sure. We can look at the daily. Hopefully it bases around 11 or so, pulls back in. Might maybe take another look at that. SPY. We got the 332 target. We're kind of getting above that level. I don't know. It looks strong. Last few days prior to this last leg up, the market internals looked really weak, and the last 3 days they've beefed up a little bit. So nice to see that. I was impressed with that. Maybe if we're going to look for another UVXY trade with all the complacency, we kind of look at the RSI for our guide. And the RSI on the daily is telling us we still have some more wiggle room to the upside. We may not get there. We may get a pullback before then, but that's the only way I think we can play this safely, is maybe wait for the RSI to get above that key 75 number before we take a little bit of a UVXY position. Everything else that we have looking pretty good. If you're still holding LRN, obviously we still have that 55 target and a beautiful move yesterday. I think we were up 4 or 5 points yesterday. NVAX, I said that looked like a little bit of a fade in the morning, so I did short that off the bat, and that was a nice short. I covered a little bit too early, left 3 points on the table, but it was one of those things. Very hard to short and hold this market. JMIA, the chart still looks interesting, but I wish that would pull back. 3M I like on weakness, but I was talking to a fellow trader the other day. You know who you are because you'll be watching this video, and I said something about 3M. It looks interesting, and it was, I think, around 150, but now we're like 6 points higher. I did not take a position. I've been a little hesitant to trade lately. CBAY, CBAY, also looks interesting. I'm not sure why it doesn't get a lot of juice behind it. It seems to kind of falter around 540, then pull back, and I was trying to take a big position, but it kept hitting my stop, and I don't like to carry stuff over I'm still holding XNET, XNET. ADT, I'm still interested in, waiting for a pullback. I'll try to find a price point on entry on that. ALVR, our IPO that we were interested in and probably most of us traded, is continuing to grind higher. I still hold MEG. That looks really interesting as well. But other than that, I'm focused on those two IPOs today. Netgear is still trying to consolidate this little pop back up from the curl on Netgear and then looking for higher prices, but I'm not sure if we can go against the market. If anything, with the SPY kind of topping out here, I'd be more interested actually in shorting the Qs probably when we decide to go short or going with a UVXY trade. Still had some shares of RNLX too. That was another IPO we have, but you can see Netgear wants to get above that wick. It's going to try. It really is. But it probably needs to pull back some more, maybe in the 31s, to get a little bit of a power. So it was nice. They sold into it on the earnings. And now we do have the highest close up in this area here, which is very bullish as well, but probably needs a little bit more work. If we look back at price history on here, we can see that this 34 area was kind of like we curled up and then we gapped down and we pulled back and then we hit that again. So that's definitely going to be some stranded traders around 34. So to be able to push up through there and above 36 will be tough under this move that we've had, this consolidation time frame and this leg. You know, when you get this type of action right in here, that builds power. You know, you can see power building here, this consolidation. But that's not enough to give us that next leg up above 36. I think we need some more sideways action for sure in that one. Trying to see what else is active this morning. I just got up not too long ago, so I haven't really looked at the news on stuff that we follow. Let me see what else we got here. And I'm just looking at my position. Sometimes I use my phone to kind of look at it. Like RNLX, was the one I was mentioning. I'm still holding a small position in this. I don't know if you guys got in this IPO. And this IPO has been good. It's acted very predictable and very systematically moving higher. Just ignore these. These are 220 and 45-day moving averages. But nice move, right? You got a little inverted hammer, but then it's just grinding higher. You know? This is the stuff we like to see. Not a lot of crazy action in it, and just a steady eddy, you know, moving higher slowly. RNLX. The spreads are a little weird on it if you're trying to enter or exit. So keep that in mind. But I do still kind of like XNet here. I didn't like the pullback that we saw yesterday into the pop that we saw. I don't like to see all these wicks, constant pullbacks into strength, where sellers are just selling on the pops because they want to get the hell out. But it's understandable given this area was what we'd call a stranded area from this big leg down. So I get it, you know. Is it going to be hard to close above like 430? Yeah, definitely. But I definitely do like this steady move upwards too. So eventually that equilibrium will sort itself out between sellers and buyers. Still holding a little TNXP. It's been kind of a laggard with that. I believe they had a secondary. And then WEMI. I still like this chart here. WIMI. I like the price history. And I like the curl, the pop, and then kind of the pullback here. So as long as this holds $8 on a close, I think maybe we can grind into the 11s or 12s on WIMI. I'm not expecting a straight shot here, so just keep that in mind. With those two IPOs today, especially AFib, hopefully AFib doesn't open up too crazy or something we can actually trade and hold for a few days. But you guys know what to look for on that. So that is it for now. I'm not looking for big moves up or down in the market here. I think SPY goes a little bit sideways. QQQ, I have not checked that chart. I'm still looking for this potential 161.8% extension of the 100 to 0 reversal from top to bottom on the recent high to low historically that we saw before the market dipped down tremendously. And we've obviously passed the quote-unquote recent all-time highs in Qs, and now looking for that, you know, a sideways kind of channeling grind to the high end. Once again, lots of lines here, I get it, but, you know, would I feel safer shorting this at 279? Absolutely. because a lot of things might line up there. And then we can do something more aggressive. I haven't really been shorting the market. I haven't called out any shorts. No buys in UVXY, no specific shorts other than day shorts and stuff like NVAX. Because the market still has a lot of strength to it, especially the Qs. I mean, the NASDAQ has some broader strength for sure. The SPY strength isn't really that broad, although the movement we saw lately with the banks is giving me a little bit more of a positive attitude. And we also need to see a little bit of a channel top on RSI before I want to go into some SQQQ again. So once again, we may not get there. We are a little overextended here on the daily. But I would feel a little bit more comfortable with a lot of things lining up in our favor before we take positions and stuff like UVXY, where we can hold it for maybe a 2-day swing, or SQQQ, or whatever we might determine is the best course of action to short the market. But for now, my focus is on those IPOs today, specifically AFIB. I think will be a good one.